Welcome to the Out There channel. Live stream 479. Carry on with the magazines with UFO, paranormal, and other types of mysteries. Part 5.
Hiding, I'm searching, I'm loving, I'm finding love, I'm hiding, I'm searching, I'm loving, I'm finding love.
Let the fate control your body.
In the beginning there was nothing. The dark side of ufology.
Hiding, I'm searching, I'm loving, I'm finding love.
Hello, hello. Good to be back, good to be back. Hello, hello, hello. Did you miss me? Yeah. Of course they did. Dan. Dan missed me. Hey. I think it's all up and running. Pin comments there. If you want to get access to our other links, buy t-shirts for Christmas. If you like their cool logos and aliens artwork. If you want to donate just to keep us on air. If you like what we do. And yeah, just a relaxing day today and to see how far we get through the next lot of magazines, I guess. And everyone's out there, just say hi down the side chat. Suspect more will come along in 10 minutes because that's when they read the emails every 10 minutes. I'll get to it. The email doesn't scan for updates. So what are we doing today? Okay, just minimize that. We're doing part 5, UFO Max. Does that come up? Yep, it's just really laggy, isn't it? Who else? Oh, looks like it's got a typo there. Should be 479. Typo. Of course, you can't edit comments, can you? 479 would be a handy feature. Yeah, first up then. We'll just see if people pop along. Back to the magazines. TimeSlips. And UFOs and computers, so I'm interested to see what that one's about. UFOs and the computer, digital computer. Okay. So what the hell's that? A UFO, are they saying, are they? Computer processing of photographs. This is what I do. A UFO creates striking, bizarre images while reviewing subtleties that are difficult to discern in originals. Well, we know that we can color swap out across the whole video, shades of blacks and shades of whites where it gets overexposed, and we can actually underexpose it to see the original outline of the shape of the craft. But we're about to get details, of course, but we'll see more realistically the shape that is there, which is handy to prove otherwise, whether it's a saucer or balloons or whatever. So I thought it might be about UFOs affecting computers by deleting stuff. So I'm not too sure why there's lines going through there. Scratches on the negative that we don't see. Oh yeah, might be something there. Some lines going down. I probably should take a snapshot of that myself and see if I can see anything in the different shades of grey. Maybe another day. Doesn't look like a UFO, that one. To be looking at there. Process vision of the picture above, in which edges separating light and darkness areas have been enhanced. So it's embossed it. But that's just a flower, isn't it? Flower with some flower in the middle. Looks like a stalk with pollen on it. And there's a stalk going down to the center. So what's that one? Like an artist with a taste for poster paints has transformed the X-ray flower, there you go, picture on the opposite page, into a bold pattern of colours. Well, it does look a lot better, doesn't it? We can now see lots of things that we didn't see in that image there. Is that an X-ray, is it? Yep, X-ray image. Looks like it's real well overexposed here, doesn't it? So dealing with blacks and whites there, obviously it's transferred different whites into different colours. Now we can start to see shapes. But that's only what we do anyway. Oh, let me get rid of that on the screen. I was hoping they're going to show us some UFO pictures. I've got something stuck together here. It feels like more than one page. It won't come undone static. Looks so new. Okay, what are we looking at now? A UFO above the clouds. Although it's looking at the sun directly, I'd say it's more likely to be lens flare. But who knows? Let's see. Till we get some better quality image off the page here. Can't see much on that one. And also meant to be the process one. That's like the same one at the front. So what's that coming down? What's that at the top there? Don't know, can't make it out. Very strange. Okay, that's a galaxy. When time slips, what we got there on the picture. We go back in time, is it? The Grim Reaper. Everyone is aware after passing of time we grow old and die. I know it sucks, man. No turning back the clock, but as Joanne Foreman points out, time can sometimes behave in strange and uncharacteristic ways. Now, my theory talked about multiple universes, that multiple Earths, multiple universes, multiple Earths, all the same DNA, but at different times. Where some are in the future, some are in the past, and some have different species, animals. So could Bigfoot be ancient humans that somehow escaped the planet into a multi-universe and then come back and visit? Who knows? Now, not sure what stories we got here, but TimeSlip Stories are pretty good. And I wish I could read it. I can get it in focus, but I can't read it at the same time. So it's talking about inside the shop when he was in it, and absence of any traffic sounds. A week later returned for a further supply of envelopes. He had the shock of his life when he approached the shop. It appeared to be totally different place from that a week before. The cobbles had become pavement, and the exterior and interior of the shop were dark and weathered, and that the fixtures were not as if they had been. Strangest of all, the shop assistant was a mature woman and denied any knowledge of the young girl he had seen previous week. This was to come for she met with a blank negative his request for further envelopes. Their shop had never stopped them. That's interesting, isn't it? The shop's manager supported her in the statement. Only evidence the old man had that he had ever bought anything was the few small envelopes purchased the previous week. Okay. But wouldn't money be out of date if it was centuries old? Maybe people don't look at the coins when they receive them. Inconclusive case of slip in time of the apparent impingement of time passed upon the present. Doesn't say anything about pictures of the envelopes. Surely it'd be a clue that the envelopes were old-fashioned or something. Unless it's a really slight time slip, where you pass into a multi-universe where it's only maybe a couple of years different. Okay, what's this one? Spooky chunk of rock, is it? What's that rock? Monolith, they reckon. So this is sounding like a bit like the Outlander, right? When the visitor leaned back against it, she experienced a time slip in which she apparently witnessed the Con's being built nearly 2,000 years ago. A curious cottage. So here's some more interesting stories, probably. Interesting stories, which are going to be a bit tricky to read out. How's the audio sounding? Sounds alright. I don't think we've got anyone on still. If you're on there, say hi in the side chat. Seems little doubt that the child had walked into the cottage past. But how? Yes. More questions than answers. Okay, can we get that one down there? Two views of time. Pioneer work in the field was first experienced in what's that? Experiment with time, with altitude for the 1920s, stating that it did can't quite read or make out what it's meaning. based on evidence of his dreams, which were frequently precognitive and often related to sequential events, as reported in newspaper. But keeping a record of his dreams came to realism that they were a blend of past, present, and future. Well, that's going to get complicated, isn't it, then? You only want the future ones so you can predict it. Creepy old looking building. Strange we got no one joining us. It is public, isn't it? Yeah, something's wrong. Says it's public. Yeah, it looks like someone clicked a like on it. So someone must have hopped along. Okay. Is there a ghost in the window? No. TimeSlip Stories, but as you can see, it's a wee bit hard for me to hold it and read it. More than meets the untrained eye. All the claims made for Current photography, the result of exaggeration or wishful thinking. And the second article explains what happens during the process and what it can really tell us about the subject. So we're talking about charges, obviously, electron. So as that charges over the body, so to say there somewhere. Human skin, yucky. Yes, look at the fancy equipment 40 years ago. Yeah, charge plates. Fingerprints. Surely that would have variances in the moisture in the skin. How hard you're pressing. How much static you got on your body as well. Yeah, I'd say that's what they call it, pseudoscience. What did it say up there? Can't quite get it. A fingerprint test. The steady state. Gateways to the other worlds. That sounds like multi-universe again, doesn't it? Einstein of the paranormal. A man called Einstein of the paranormal. Colin Wilson concludes the series. Tom Letherbridge progressed from finding hidden objects through Delson to exploring the timeless world beyond. How do you do that? Delson rods and a Ouija board where it passes over letters. Yeah, I don't know. This pretty damp, cold place in UK. A damp castle full of hauntings. Sounds like a good place to do some experiments for paranormal. Coherent theory. The ghost and the divine rod. So what's he doing there? He likes his KFC. I don't blame him though. So we've got water running there. His theory about creation of the world wide belief in nymphs. Nymph nodes, no. Aroused young pausing within the static field of a stream. Vividly creates the image of a girl bathing in his own static field. The image leaks into the weaker field where it is recorded. Perhaps years later, a passing youth with a weak psych field comes in contact with, from which the image of the girl leaks into the field. So that's sort of like my theory. This explains it a wee bit better. He's saying, because you're thinking about it in your brain, that it's being recorded into the environment. So I'd say that's more likely it's going to be recorded into the atoms where you were. Could it be from a breath? You know, if you're breathing and it comes from the brain, and those thoughts are in the brain at the time as that element was passing, the atom, carbon or whatever was passing, and then got expelled through a breath of air back into the environment and then absorbed into the plant. The atom lives on with that information that was embedded into it through your neurons in your brain, affecting the energy fractal pattern, energy based deep within the particle of the atoms. All atoms are energy. Remember, E equals mc squared. Matter and energy are all energy. Matter is made from energy, and matter can be converted back into energy. So really it's energy in a denser form, then released back into flowing energy again. That's how I see it anyway. I've explained it before though. There's no proof of it though. But it could explain what he's saying here, where you get things recorded and played back for some reason. The right trigger or whatever. Electrostatic. Time of year, sunspots, who knows. So what have we got here? Some sort of timeline. Some sort of disaster. Worlds beyond worlds. A Stonehenge. Earth is a living creature. So we're like insects on the creature. That's what his theory is, obviously. What's going on here? 2 pages stuck together. The meaning of coincidences. So it's repeating that one that we already looked at. Egyptians scarab. So what's that got to do with it? A golden scarab, Egyptian symbol of rebirth, and its European relative, the rose scarab. Okay, so what's that got to do with anything? I suppose you've got to read the whole story. Synchronicity. That's quite weird. Creepy face looking through. So James Dean had a motor car crash, is it? So sick of hearing that one. Yeah, James Dean. There's going to be a lot of people that get killed in the same car. So I reckon it's haunted. I don't know about that. A chi, yin yang. So that's karma. So if you're a horrible computer person, karma comes your way. A goof on. Okay, on to the next book. We got through one book. How long did that take? Although I would like to read out parts of it, we ain't got time. So that was 35 minutes, was it? No, it can't be that much, can it? What's that say there? Got it pick up? 35. So what have we got in this book? Nice red colour on black. Mass type hysteria. URi GELLER tested. Classic UFOs analysed. Ghost Hunters Guide. Okay, let's see where this one goes. Also, we got some bad stuff happening. From the past. So what we got here? The aliens on the moon. Get out of here. You meant to be telling us. The moon has always puzzled man. George H. Leonard believed that space researchers know more than they will admit. I don't know about that. There's too much going up in space now. If they've got secrets, it's going to get revealed and it'll make them look stupid, I think. If that's the case. So, back to these old blurfos. Images. You can see the scan lines here. So we've got a crater. A pile of rocks in the middle, and they reckon they can see the word PAF. What's that mean? Place aliens first. Alien lives matter. Maybe. Well, do we see letters there? Pareidolia. So for the damn cursor's in the way. It gets always in the way. Okay, can I see any P's? How about an A? Oh, what's the other one? F. It's kind of weird if they think there's something in there, because I'm not seeing it. Looks like little faces to me. I can see a little face there. Can't see letters. Letter A should be sticking out here. If there is a letter A. To me it looks like little eyes and nose there. And lots of them actually, you can see them all over the place. Because that's what my brain wants to see. What they reckon's down here. This one's a bit clearer, maybe. And they've drawn circles around. I see. What have we got here? A letter L. Upside down. That one there. Can't seem to get focus on it. Can't quite see anything in the circles there. Can you? There we go, it's these things. Funny shaped X's. But I'm not seeing it. I can see an L shape. There we go. Wishful thinking again, I think. Tracks made. Two moving objects close to the Vitinio crater. Tracks are 900 and 1200. Okay. So he's talking about that one. To me, that looks like a boulder that's slowly been rolling down the hill of a crater. It creates those lines in the soft layer of the moon, which you get into that dry riverbed in America, where they've actually seen the stones moving across with the right conditions. It had to be like a slimy surface from a little bit of rain and then a gust of wind is enough to move the stones a few inches every year, and they form these tracks. Can't remember what desert now it was, but probably could look it up. It was on, in search off and all that for years. Well, there's plenty on the moon here. What have we got in this one? Looks like another crater with rocks all over the place. So let's try and draw what they're seeing, but I'm not seeing any of that. Looks like overexposed and missing data to me. So what they're claiming on this one? Craters everywhere? Yes, there's plenty of craters. And I can't see any aliens. Can see the lines there between the craters. Like something's moved along. See, they're trying to say that's obviously machines doing that. No, I'm not convinced. I think it's just rocks rolling around. So, maybe we need to look up his name. on a search. This is 40 years ago, remember? So he's obviously been debunked since with newer photographs. Which is always going to be the way, isn't it? As more information comes to light, it's not so clear cut anymore. Under the eye of scientist URi GELLER, and one of those was Hal put off. Genuine? I don't think so. I think it's been pointed out as a fraud. Just took the right person to expose him. John Lennon talking about UFOs. Galileo became interested in UFOs when he heard the voice of a space being talking about the starship Spectra. After that, he claimed to have seen a red disc-shaped light that seemed to be following him, and managed to capture UFOs on film, even though he had not seen them in the sky at the time he took the photographs. Yeah. And it's Aussie, isn't it? Ozzy Osbourne. I know, he looks a bit like John Lennon from the side, doesn't he? With the Aussie glasses. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that was John Lennon to look at. But now I see it as, yeah. John Lennon was ahead of his time. He looks like Ozzy there. It's really pop magician. That sounds like it. Return of the Space Spooks. Okay, we need to get down to the end and read it. Spectre. Where did I hear that the other day? James Bond movie, wasn't it? Spectre. Sounds like straight out of a James Bond movie. Was that Time to Die or something movie? Wasn't too bad actually. So we need to get down to that story. Okay, let's see, have a look. Spite of these successes, Geller was tense and miserable. Apart from anything else, the space spooks were at it again. In a room in a Washington hotel, an ashtray floated off the table as if moved by invisible hands. So, did anyone else see this? Then the tape recorder began to work off its own accord when Puharish, who was present, played the tape back. The weird magnetic voice they had first heard in 1971 spoke again, explaining that the spaceship Spectra would soon be making a landing on Earth. I don't think it happened. This was good cover-up. But only for refueling. The mass landing promised in earlier interviews was eventually to come later. They also, to put Harwich's surprise and irritations, told him not to start experiments with GELLER for the time being, and not to tell anyone about these strange messages. I wonder why. When all it was over the tape, according to Brett Harris, simply dissolved into thin air. Sounds like Mission Impossible. Later messages that arrived through the tape recorder again insisted that Boothard should, and now it's probably going to get into a difficult place to read it. So who's that? Adrian Mitchell, was that him now? Was it who met Gary on the first trip to the United States? Experimented with telepathy. Okay. Target. Was it a devil? And we got response. What is it? I won't get in focus. Flowers in a cave. I don't know. Weird. What's that one? Response to circle and a banana. I don't know. And next one, Devil's Fork, Planet Earth, and a Rest in Peace. Target. Camel, maybe? I don't know. Response, horse. Target bridge. Response, rainbow. So I suppose that's remote viewing, is it? Remote viewing the drawing. I suppose that's some of the tests the scientists did with him. So Space Being starts down there again, doesn't it? And he told Gary that he intended to ignore the space beings and go ahead with the plans for scientific testing. Gary lost his temper and hurled a sugar at his head. Binhage exploded in violent indignation. At the moment, an immense wind blew up outside, shaking the trees, and a grand 5 o'clock shot across the hall and shattered. Did someone have the door open? Guess the wind knocked it down. Big finish to forget the scientists. Penard Rich dug into his heels. Eventually won his point. What point was that? as a scientist, you don't generally ignore things, though, but I guess nowadays it's alright with quantum mechanics. Ignore the anomalies, the distractions, like in the Big Bang Theory, right? Ignore all the problems with it. Challenged by the skeptics. I wonder if it was Great Randy. Does it talk about Randy there or not? Target response. Well, those ones are similar, aren't they? Could you draw that randomly out your head? I don't think so. There's got to be some influence there. To get that anyway. So... Okay, what we got here? Mass Hysteria, is it? Jamestown, is it? Or in the mind? Hysteria. I suppose it was like on the Origin TV shows where one of the good people say, "Oh, do you feel that's gone instantly cold?" So instantly they put their hand there, and they're expecting cold, and they say, "Oh yeah, it does feel slightly colder." So what they should say is, "That's interesting. Put your hand there, see if you get the same as me." And they actually say whether it's hot or cold or static. It makes your hairs go. Ooh, not that they have them on the web anymore. Yeah, cult followers. Politicians, right? Make promises, we will follow. The Trent photos. Already analysed them. And it was a truck mirror. And over power lines. With some fishing wire. If you want to see there's two live shows I did on that. I tried to replicate the same angles and stuff, and determined that it was a model, and the cameraman had moved, not the flying craft. That's the only way it could get done, the two image positions. So I won't spend much time on that one. So-called one of the best UFO cases, right? when they're scanning the negatives. You can see there that they're full of scratches and things, just to try and... We think it's done on purpose, you know. You don't normally handle your negatives back then with fingers and slide it across the table and stuff, because it scratches them. Of course, they're worse pictures than what we dealt with. And they rescanned them in. The skeptics are doing it wrong. They should be using the same power lines and a truck mirror, and then they're good at precise. Feels like 2 pages. It's not... Oh, a nice green colour. Yellow green. A Ghost Hunter's Guide. Not sure what all that's about. Well, the well-equipped investigator, obviously EMF meters and all that sort of stuff. 40 years ago, they would have had less than what they have now on TV. Thermal cameras, no. Digital cameras, no. Digital voice recorders, no. 40 years ago, and they might have been mucking around with tape recorder EVPs though. Yep. Visions of Heaven and Hell. The Cosmic Joke. That would have to be the Big Bang leaps into the future. UFO photographs. And is death the end? Psychic superstar again. What happens after death? Someone gets all your money. That's basically what happens. Spend your whole life earning it. Yeah, assets, and then someone else gets them. That's not the Bell Witch, is it? Is it? I don't know. I'm only guessing. Proof of communication from the dead. I suppose that's what they used to do with traitors and things. Nail them to a post and stick them on a post to show everybody that's what happens. You don't do as you're told. Maybe it'll happen again. If you don't get vaccinated, this is what's going to happen to you. The government's going to get you. Creepy images. Of course, this is another fraud here. You get the handprints of the dead, is it? What the hell is that? I think it's the thing that jumped from the top, isn't it? Molding of spirit hands and paraffin wax. I'm not sure how you do that then. But now you should be able to debunk that, shouldn't you? If it's spirit's hands, it should have the same fingerprints as I got on file. All collected from items that they used to own. It's pointing to that one there. Would you better slide your hand out while it sits? Don't know, sounds like something snake oil there. Popular in the Edwardian sciences with the molding of spirit hands. So how did they do that though? If they're faking it, they're going to have to stick their hands into boiling hot wax. Don't know. I wonder if we can find any information on that. Let's see. Spirit hands. How were they made? Fate. Fake spirit 8. Houdini, the hunter of fake ghosts. Yeah, he didn't like charlatans and frauds, did he? Psychics. So yeah, I need to try some other searches there. Wax. Try wax. Why paraffin wax? Why not beeswax? Paraffin and a jug of water. Magician Carlos Maria de revealed how fake metallized hands could be made by using rubber glove. Okay, there you go. So maybe there's a certain temperature where you get it, where the rubber glove doesn't burn onto your hand. Dip them in quickly, then straight into water. Houdini makes spirit hands. So he figured out they were faking. Certainly does look like he's using rubber gloves here. And wax and water. So there you go, it's been debunked. So the 40-year-old book is already exposed, that one. So it looks like it's got the same there. Although I don't see the rubber glove. It's got the bowl of water, paraffin, wax. Psychic Superstar. Been in the key, eh? Looks pretty young there, doesn't he? He bent my spoon. Not amused. Wonder how much money he made from that. Being made a guinea pig to prove his powers. I suppose if he could fool people, or the researchers, then he could use that to promote his books and stuff forevermore and make lots of money. Well, he certainly got a lot of press in these magazines here, so did he make any money from the magazines here, I suppose? UFO photos, facts, and frauds. Sounds like what I deal with. 9 out of 10 photographs of alleged UFOs are misinterpreted. Actually, it's a lot higher than that. everyday events or at work or work of hoaxes. British UFO Research Association describes the gauntlet of tests that such photos must run. Yep. Billy Meyer again, is it? What's it say there? UFO hoaxer Alex Birch revealing how he faked a picture of flying saucers. Okay. Can we get there? Let's see. A UFO in the middle. I think I've seen that picture before. Fancy having it in the middle of the book so you get a staple for it. How stupid. Looks like there's some lines there. They're going to focus in. You can see some lines there. Fishing wires, isn't it? The light reflecting off it. Flying saucer man. Yeah, force perspective. Yeah. There we go. Getting there. Might wrap it up after these last few books. Here Can I get that one? I can't quite read it. Talking about how they tested it. I use filtering to try and look for fishing wire. So they worked out the day of time and the shadow movement, that the shadows didn't match the time of day that he claimed. So he took pictures of discs. Doesn't come out very good. Mexican hat. Well, it's not really a Mexican hat. What's that one? A flying saucer hat. So yeah, that's about the guy admitting that he faked stuff anyway. Obviously with fishing wire and models and force perspective, which is what Billy Meyer did. Look at that, icicle forming a hand. Weird. Laughter in heaven. What else we got? Eggs. Hold up unidentified flying omelets. Eggs that fill with clear blue sky and eggs that fell from the clear blue sky was called keep hatch. Okay. So how could that happen? A small commercial plane threw him out the window. Like a Cessna, maybe. Or maybe a tornado sucked it up. A hen, a batch of eggs and chickens and all that, and it eventually they got sucked up miles above the earth and eventually come back down. Okay. Okay, what am I looking at now? Yeah, he looks a really trusting guy, doesn't he? I'm a magician. I'm gonna make eggs fall from the sky. Is that the same article, or what is it talking about here? The rogue in the afterlife. Accidental discoveries, such as I don't know, it kind of looks like opal, that does. What's that say up there? Part of the huge block of ice that suddenly dropped out the sky and almost hit meteorologists. Is it the actual size, or does it tell us? It doesn't tell us. I suppose that might be actual size. I have seen some big ones, but not that big. I've seen ones as big as golf ball and baseball. I suppose that could be baseball size. And that was in Australia. So I don't believe they were floating around in the sky. I believe they must have got made very quickly through the heat and through the Australian heat that rises up and suddenly cooling down near the coast. Leaps into the future. time slips. So more stories there. Again, they would have to be scanned in and read, I think. In June, she dreamed that she was packing a trunk with clothes that she removed from a nearby wardrobe. Taken clothes I did not put in the trunk. I did not own. Eh? A dream is not actual time slip though. It doesn't make any sense. You want the ones with multiple witnesses where it happens to everybody. They're the ones you believe. The dream. No, we don't want dreams. The dream again. I thought they were going to have some good stories there. But when they start talking about dreams, it puts you off. Wasting time trying to focus it. A vanishing laundrette. Well, that would be strange. It'd be a bit hard to replace the laundrette with some other building. And on that one, she's talking about seeing when the exhibit opened, she felt a sense of impending doom. And yeah, I've had that happen. And warned the client not to visit it. The day before the explosion, she saw the bomb being placed in a litter tin and heard the screams. But that's not time slips, that's premonitions. That comes under. That's not part of time slips though. I think they got that in the wrong section. Well, the woman writing the article didn't know the difference. Talking about dreams that come true rather than time slips. You know, I'm pretty sure that's what the page said, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, we've got some letters written in. And the letters are generally pretty good stories too. So what's this one about? I've not told anyone else, for fear they would not believe me. Okay, so I'm not sure what the story's about. It could be UFO, it could be anything. Can I read it though? My arm's getting sore. Suddenly Jeremy dropped into the ground. I hadn't noticed any sheep on the way along the track. Yes, so not sure I understand this one. I thought that I would take my border collie Germany for a walk on the old Roman track. We walked for a mile, then turned around to come back. Suddenly Germany dropped into the ground. I hadn't noticed any sheep on the way along the track. Okay, sensing a ghost, but thought that he must have noticed some in a neighbouring field. Then he started to make a very quiet noise, gentle crying noises, and the hair off the ruff of his neck stood up. I looked for the hair off the ruff of his neck stood up. Okay, no, missed me. Lost my line. Then I heard the gentle baying of sheep. Then he started to make very quiet crying noises, and the hair ruff stood up. I looked for what was upsetting him, but could see nothing. Then I heard the gentle baying of sheep. Jeremy suddenly rolled over onto his back into a position of extreme submission, something he hadn't done since he was a small pup. Then I noticed the sheep. There seemed to be something wrong, though at first in the fallen light I couldn't make out what it was. Then I noticed that they were walking in the air. They were only about 6 inches, 15 centimeters above the ground, but 6 inches is 6 inches. Was they petrified? I could not describe the... It's kind of strange. Were they ghosts or... Again... multiverse breakthrough, where the ground is actually higher there on the other Earth than it is there. So what happened then? Because I picked up my motionless dog, threw him over the fence beside the road, and threw myself after him, cutting myself badly. Then Jeremy and I got to our feet and ran. The only explanation that I could offer is what I saw was a ghost of sheep. Ghost sheep, that's a new one. So you think that'd be a New Zealand joke, that one. Watch out for the killer ghost sheep. We're very interested in hearing your experiences. Especially we got pictures or videos. Especially nowadays. Now we got internet. Like I said, the stories are more interesting than some of the crap in the books. We got a dream. I had a dream that man will be equal. Birds flying in terror. Next morning I heard over the radio of a dreadful earthquake. Yeah. My wife had several experiences. Smelling death. How do we go for time? No one out there still. These people suck. Suck, suck, suck. Oh, the stats suck. Okay, how we go for time? 1:35. So if we do this last book, it should be up to 2 hours, I think. That'd be good enough for today. So what's the next one? The Shape of Things to Come. Wells and the UFO of the UFO. Metal bending telepathy. And the pyramids. Another angle. UFOs in action. The history of Hysteria. It doesn't sound too interesting, this one. Catalogue of Curious Fights. Okay. Was Alessandro Volta really the first person to think of the electric battery? Were the Wright brothers really the first to fly? Modern research suggests that our ancient ancestors may have technology far more advanced than we could imagine. That sounds like my Egyptian airship theory. Although you can see it sort of has airfoil. It's not really airfoil, like a normal airplane wing, but it has got the right curvature and stuff that it probably would fly. A toy model that they built as a kid. Thinking they were copying a bird, maybe. Where'd they get that from? Not from those stupid things. We already determined those to be fish, not flying machines. That's ancient aliens nonsense. But if I found that in a tomb, that's definitely not a fish. I don't know, who we got? Who is it? The Baghdad battery. And how do you make a battery? From acid and 2 types of metal. Copper and zinc normally. And I believe the ancients could have stumbled across it by making wine, right? And making a couple making like a spoon to drain it, or like a funnel maybe, or something like that. And they put one being copper and the other one being some other type of metal, and getting a shock from it. So I could quite easily see how it would be accidentally found out about it. But there's no wire. And of course we've got this stuff here, which Some guy reversed it by doing x-rays of all the cogs and rebuilding it. Turned out to be this thing here that maps the location of the sun, moon and planets and stuff. They reckon it was being transported between countries and it sunk on the boat, and it's not as old as they claim it to be. A shower of roses. So before we had eggs falling from the sky, now we've got the roses, I suppose. I don't know. That's what they're saying. The making of saints. Yeah, not really interested in that sort of stuff. UFO files. Looks like it's some we've seen before. UFO near a forest, but unfortunately they could easily be faked because forests have branches where you can throw a bit of fishing wire over and quickly pull it while you click the camera. So it looks like it's going up on an angle there, doesn't it? Quickly pull it, click the photograph, and we get a motion blurred UFO coming up on the film. And that one looks like two lampshades joined together. And look at that one. Too good to be true. Models and fishing cable. A spinning top. It does look like a spinning top though. Billy Meyer. Space people contactee. So we got another folder to go, haven't we? Then I might need to redo one again. Tiered, Celios, and Focus. Psychic photographer. Examines the skeptic's attempts to expose him. There you go, this should be fun. Right, one of a few colour thought photographs, he calls them. So he thinks what he wants to be put in the film and they click the shutter with the cap on. I think that's how it's done. And they get these images come out on film. Don't know what that's meant to be. A hand. And so we need to go over it a wee bit. What the hell is that? Looks like an out of focus building with windows at the top. And there he is, thinking about what he wants on the photograph. Remote circuit photographing. So what did he think on this guy? Since 40 years ago. I'll have to do a search. Okay, so he's meant to be thinking of this place. There. But it's backwards, isn't it? I see, it's on a different angle. It looks like it might be the same. Sort of a squarish tower. Then it gets round at the top. So how did he do that if it was fresh film? Ted Celius. Let's see what comes up. Is that them? It is. Must be one of them in the world. Yeah, what'd they say about him? Polaroid film. Psychic powers. Oh, getting sore now. Thought photographs. Did anyone else replicate him? Was unemployed bellhop when his claims that he had the ability. Okay, yeah. Makes it a bit more suspect. Wants to make money from it. So he was usually held a small cylinder or tube he called a gizmo. Up to the lens of the instant camera, which then pointed at his forehead, and the shutter released. He would often be drunk. Oh, what happened there? I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Wasn't me. So where did we get to? Before we were rudely interrupted. And sorry if I'm not talking clearly, because I happen to wear a headset and angle my face down where my jaw doesn't get much room to move here to talk. So, yeah, I'm trying to do too many things at once, unfortunately. Alright, so was he debunked? How did they debunk him? So, it's all about magicians here. In an article, October 1967, David, both amateur magicians and professional photographers, claim to have exposed Sirius as a fraud, of course, after spending a weekend with him. Yeah. What's it saying? It said they spotted Sirius slipping something into the tube that Sirius claimed he needed to help him concentrate. Could it be a picture of the place that he was thinking of? And quickly open up the image before the Polaroid shutter closed, so you got a blurred image of what was in his hand. They clamorized this was a picture of something that had that the camera would take the image of, but which Sirius would claim came from his mind rather than his hand. Overexposure remained virtually unheard from for the past 30 years. So once he got found out, he went underground. But surely they would have seen him holding his hand up to the camera and taking the cap off and unraveling the photograph. Let's see. Slide a hand, unravel the photograph in his hand ready, and then display act along, hold it up quickly close to the camera, say snap, and then quickly close your hand again and get rid of the photograph. Yeah, I can see how it would be done. So what year did they expose him? 67? When was this article written? Have to get the camera on it. Premiered on the X-Files, 1996. Okay. So, what year was... Can we see him holding up the photograph? Yeah, it could be in the palm of his hand. Someone else is going to push the button to snap it, is it? And he's got the tube in his other hand there. And that's probably why it comes out like that. It makes sense now, doesn't it? What year was it though? He got found out in 67. It's got to be around about the same time, 66, isn't it? I'm just trying to find some year numbers. 64, yeah, so it was a few years before when he was out of work. So This article should have had it exposed then. Secrets of Gizmo. Serious invited investigators bring with them target pictures concealed in envelopes. But if this was, here we go, gave the skeptics the evidence they needed. So he tried to prove them wrong, did he? So it has got the same article in the web as in the book here 40 years ago. Contain a microphone. It talks about it slightly different though. Purpose of the gizmo, says here, is to keep his fingers from obscuring the lens. His critics, however, see it as having a far more sinister purpose. It could very easily conceal a gimmick containing a microfilm or transparency. Doesn't say he got caught out there though. Hang on. Does it? It doesn't say he got caught out. And other researchers, on the other hand, are satisfied that the gizmo contains no hidden equipment. Just before the exposure, they're aware of a hidden microphone hypothesis have involved experimental protocol to overcome it. Seros is usually given the gizmo when he feels he can reproduce a paranormal print. 50 seconds. I'm not sure. This article is trying to Royal Canadian Mounted, and that's his image. Now, why did he disappear for 30 years? Hidden in the hand. Transparency at the end. So it's like a it's got a lens inside and an image on the other end. Right, so it's like when you look down a tube, one of those tube things, you know, as a kid, and you see little images of pictures of people. That's exactly the same concept, and just hanging up to the camera lens. But I would have thought it needed some sort of light, extra light. Maybe not. No, so he got found out. It's quite interesting though, isn't it? And the sort of tricks that people played once upon a time. What are we talking about there? It's not the best of font colours. Alright, talk about Hysteria. Voodoo, man, voodoo. So, not too sure what they're trying to say there. Hysteria, religion, occults, and you can get people to do anything. Murder, kill, I guess. Possessed by the devil. And we've got up here. Yuck. We're glad we don't have to wear wigs anymore and dresses. And stockings. You can wear shorts now. Speaking of dresses. Wheeling Devilicious. Members of the Islamic religious. So that's back 40 years. This is back 40 years ago, remember? Now that's because they can they hide up some explosives up there. Perfect for being a terrorist. We've got some more letters. Letters are generally pretty good. Okay, we're back to moon anomalies. Yeah. I'm not sure what we're meant to be looking at there. What they reckon. Part of the crater Pastor. First on the moon fails to reveal the super ring of filigreed material that George Leonard claims to have discovered at the indicated site. Indicated site. The dark notch to the left was supposedly been cut by smaller rings, which are equally hard to see. Indeed, man, indeed. So I have no clue what Hoglund and his mates are on. So, there's something suspicious about that one. Something in his reflection. It's not going to get in focus. Used to do better than this. Here we go. I knew something had to happen once we got it in focus. A stupid error pops up. Men in Black. Yeah, you're a clever son of the guns. Hey, what have we got in this one? Bit shiny. So you should have a reflection, because the camera's there. The camera's on his chest, right? Well, that's where they used to have him. So he should be able to see the other guy taking a picture from his chest. And do we see him? We see a shadow of someone standing there. Is it on a tripod? Lunar lander leg on the side there, is it? Yeah, it looks like another man further background. Don't see any flying saucers though. Moon's origin. Knowledge to bear on claims that the moon has been colonized and may even have been built by aliens. Yeah, where's the proof? Can't see any proof of aliens here. Hey, when in focus. No. Okay, we got another picture here. How about that one? Just looks like a crater from the side view to me. Same as all around there. So what's the claims on that one? A spray emerges from the smaller crater in the highlands near the crater. George Leonard. The arc could be a trick of undulations in the surface, but believes it's real. Okay, a spray. Do you see a spray? I don't. It looks like dust to me, dust in the air. Unless I'm missing something. Moon rock. Indicate the moon is solid, not a hollow, artificial construction. I think if they go back there and start drilling, it's the only way to find out. I reckon it'll have lava tubes and stuff myself. So it'll be very similar to what we get on Earth here. It's out of focus. Yeah, I wasn't too impressed with the moon anomalies in the book here. No, maybe wrap up on the stories. And then we got part 6 of the next volume to do. Another day. Experience my mother and I had some 2 years ago. My father had just died, leaving my mother alone in the house. She was very upset by his death, and I went to stay with her for a short while. The morning after my father died, my mother and I went into the living room to find my father's desk overturned. Neither of us had heard anything during the night. I set the desk upright again. The next night I was woken by a crash. My mother came running into the bedroom. Both of us were very frightened. We went downstairs to the living room where we thought the noise had come from, and again found My father's death, I've returned. Maybe he's telling you there's some gold bars in it. Let's see. And its contents spread over floor. We left it as it was. And on the stairs, on the way back to bed, my mother screamed out, pleading for this phenomenon to stop. It did. Nothing strange has happened since. Yeah, but why did it happen? It's almost like it's trying to tell them to look. Yeah, it's kind of strange. So another one. Some years ago, astonishing experience. It remains vivid in my memory. I was amazed to read in a letter you published in issue 15 of the Unexplained that someone else had a similar vision. At approximately 4:30 one morning, I woke up. Suddenly, my bedroom door was open and I I know, I got Google coming up. I never said okay Google. Goodbye.
Have a good day, Paul.
I didn't say anything for it to come up. So where did I get to? My bedroom door was open. A bit careful not to read the same thing or trigger again. I was shocked to see a female figure standing there, looking out of the window at my next door neighbour's house. The strange thing was that her whole body, apart from her face, which was shadowed against the darkness, seemed to be luminous. In other words, it was pitch black everywhere. What I remember most about her and her blonde hair and her pink tunic-like dress. After a few minutes I turned over and went back to sleep. Next morning I asked the female members of my family whether they had been up during the night. None of them had. Since I read the letter you published, the thought has come into my mind that the figure I saw could somehow be more than a vision. Do any other readers have similar experiences? So what was strange about that? Blonde hair, could be alien, a Nordic. Don't know. Maybe he's a contactee and doesn't know it. Okay, so I've got another story at the bottom here about the forest workers. Let's see. What's interesting letter from RCB Jones regarding an explosion over Berwyn Mountains on the night of the 6th of August 76, issue 18. Robert has covered that in our show. I was living in Glen Searlog at the time and heard it. Explosion was extremely loud but had a dull, muffled sound. The earth shook as though from a heavy impact. How do they know it's not an earthquake though? The sky lit up brightly, earthquake lights, or electrical transformers exploded, and stayed like that for minutes. A report appeared in Rixenham Leader the following day. It was the talk of all the nearby Getting all the way up again. Villagers for weeks afterwards, forestry workers reported that army trucks and personnel scoured the rather barren area for some time, but officially apparently put a ban on further news reports. So yeah, apparently there was meant to be a crashed UFO, wasn't it? That story. You could probably find it on some of the old live shows we did with Robert, the search in Berwyn Mountains or whatever. I write in reference to the articles and correspondence on Black Madonnas. I should like to write a few words on behalf of gentlemen in Edgbaston who wrote the most sanctimonious and dictatorial letter. I mean, what is sanctimonious? It's not a common word I'm familiar with. Suggesting that these ancient symbols of the past should be sanctified and their true significance ignored. So it means censorship? I don't know. Relic ancient pagan rituals once represented the earth goddess. Madonna was dominant and overpowering. I see, the religious ones always cause conflict. Okay. So we finally got through that folder. What's that say? In Berlin. The belief that spanned for years between her first appearance and the court of Henry to her beheading. Well, it might be a ghost now. So, yeah, we carry on with more of these. We got another 12 to go. That was just doing 4, wasn't it? Yeah, 3. About 4 books, I think. There's a lot of stuff in them. So, not sure how much was useful in those last ones. So, the moon pictures sucked, and I wasn't convinced. What was the guy's name? That's the guy that worked with Hoagland, wasn't it? What's his name? George Leonard. Or was that the guy with the big spaceships in space? He had a similar name, didn't he? Which was International Space Station being built over many years. George Leonard. For some reason my keyboards are not working. Come on. Yeah, it's working. Okay. Limonade. Maybe, I don't know. No, can't be. So, misspelled it. American writer, editor. Set him. Let's type in aliens and moon. Here we go. Alien artifacts. There you go. Somebody else is on the moon. And I think all his images got debunked, if I remember right. Let's find out. Low res crap it was. And some new images have come forward that sort of debunked it. Let's see what comes up. Is anyone else on the moon? Another book. The paranormal is still nutty. Why the Air Force almost blasted the moon with an H-bomb. My encounter with pseudo-archaeology. Who else could be on the moon? Part 1113. Okay, we're getting near dinner time here. How are we going for time? Must be coming up to 2.5. Alien base on the moon, triangle of dots, artifacts. Is that one of his images? Debunked, and McWest comes up. That one. That's Area 51 guy that Hoax Secure Team used for his fake leaker interview. One of them anyway. So I think there's some newer images of that one. Let's see what comes up. This is the L-shaped craft, wasn't it? Oh, maybe it was Dr. Norton one. That was that one. Could have been Dr. Norton. So it only shows up on certain years. That's what someone's saying. The bad pixels. Although the quality doesn't change if it's through the years, it's pretty strange. Smiley face. I don't know. Someone taking a piss take, are they? Is that it there? HD image of the actual crater. Well, it doesn't look like a row of lights there now. In fact, anything, it looks like it's raised up. But that's optical illusion, we know that. And there are little mini craters here though, look. So a row of black holes. So it must be what they were seeing. You can see there's a row of black holes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you got ones going this way. You got ones going that way. Guys, it looks like a hair. A hair on the slide that got scanned in. Remember, some of these were taken from... right, it could be actually drawn on. Some of these were taken with slides from the camera on board the capsule as it was coming down. For close-ups. A lot of the high altitude ones like this one. It's just rubbish. Show no detail compared to these ones that are lower down orbit. So what they're saying is a scratch. Scratch in the same area on all the pictures. Heating and cooling. Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter images over the area. You can see something being ejected from an object. Don't think so. So did they solve it or not? They could spend hours on this metabug. Just what they need is like an end bit on it. Solution or something. It's got 2 pages. No wonder he looks like that. Oh dear, another 10 pages to go. Keep it simple, stupid. Should have like a click link. See the solution. See the solution. I think they're talking about other things now. Yep. So I don't know what the solution was. None. Let's see. Flashing dots wasn't it? Let's see, we can find a bit of blurb that's sort of about the flashing dots. Nope. Flashing, nope. No hits. White dots. Nope. White. 5 hits. Nope. So he's put it in brackets here, which is probably the solution. Photo artifact. So when Google scanned it in, maybe for a second time, was it later on, introduced artifacts. I don't know, that's what they're saying. Cephalus in the hollow moon. So we're looking for this guy. Some else's moon, something like that. Let's see what we get with that one. So what else is on the moon? I don't care for the book. Mostly what I got from the book was trash talking of George Linner's book. No, you can't trust someone, not when you want to believe in it. Yeah, so it must be the counter debunk, is it? Search for alien artifacts 2014. UFO Digest. Okay, this seems to ring a bell. I'm pretty sure that's been debunked. In 1967, George Leonard released a books. Von Dakin. NASA technician who allowed him to pour over hundreds thousand Apollo program photographs. This buddy forwarded Leonard. Buddy forewarned Leonard that he would encounter strange things in the photographs that were up to him to interpret. Wood scratches, hairs, blobs of ink. There's all sorts of anomalies in them. Correspondence. I had to say whether or not NASA had begun airbrushing or smudging images. Found out as he poured over thousands of these photographs taken by NASA was nothing short of astounding. Yeah. To properly frame the following accounts given bizarre evidence that could presence existed on the moon. But where's the evidence? low-res, blurry, blobby things doesn't mean anything. Early history of bizarre events surrounding the moon. We may not be related to the position of Earth. Oh, moon again. Artifacts. So, what images have we got? Apart from the tracks one, was that the one of them? Moon landing conspiracy. Okay. Yeah. So what's the best evidence then? Let's try that. Best evidence. Okay. And I'll take that as none. Moon. The dark side of the moon. That's Richard Hoagland. Don't see it. I'm pretty sure we've done him before. Let's just do a quick search, see if his name comes up. But yeah, I should wrap up. It's almost dinner time. Here we go. So we have done him before. Let's have a look quickly. Google mucked around with the format. You see this, and they got rid of the dislike now. And instead of having the date and time up here, they've now got it down here. But it's harder to see, I reckon. Compared that to BitChute's one, so easy stands out. No, did I mention his name there at all? So why did it come up? Don't see it in the header or the description. Weird. I just typed his name in, wasn't it? I don't know. Maybe I didn't put it in the body of the... But how would it know? Closed captions, maybe. Yeah, might be searching closed captions now. But anyway, I was hoping to find some images. Aliens. Come on, Paul. Aliens on me. Okay. So it's the same ones we saw in the book, right? Okay, what's that one? Sandbag. I can't see anything. It's too damn small. Okay. So what are we to be seeing there? Aliens, no. It's like Razor Gang, isn't it? Just looks like a lifted up piece of crater rim to me. Got an arrow. So again, looks like an edge of a crater. Going up. Oh. Over there. They're buildings. Again, they look like rocks to me. Arrows pointing downwards. Again, I just see low-res buildings, rocks, I mean. Okay, what have we got here? Something in shadow. And there as well. So this sort of thing you need to run it through some filters. Looks like it's right over the edge or something, doesn't it? Over a crater or something, but it probably isn't. And there we go, the tower. So what's that meant to be if that's the tower? Yeah. But I reckon, because it's all the same blackness here, but if you run it through some filters, you'll probably see that's part of the rib going around that way. And it's not actually a building standing up that way. Casting a shadow down this way. Pareidolia, man. And I got some of that to come up next episode, actually. This one here, I'll talk about it next time. They were saying it's a little creature here with eyes, feet standing down. The other one was it's a side view of a girl kneeling down. There's her leg and foot and her hand on the knee, and it's her long hair, and she's looking downwards. But yeah, when you enhance it, to me it looks like a white wolf type dog, probably a hunting dog, that's like got his head down and his ears up, sniffing the ground like this one here. And you can see this has got a black bushy tail as well, and I think that's just a black bushy tail. So yeah, we'll talk about that one with third phase tomorrow or the next day. See how I feel to do another show. And we got this one here that he put up to, which again we've come across so many times now, is a mountain peak or volcanic peak on an island where you get these cloud cover that sort of makes these ripple effects. And then we got this one here about this thing moving across Saturn. So I'll cover all that next time. So yeah, aliens on the moon, I'm still not convinced. There's a black dot. Yeah, so what about it? I don't see any buildings. Looks like it's screwed up now. Looks like it's locked up or something. I don't know. Alright, there. I wonder what I clicked. What's this one? The parallax gap. So it beats me. What we're looking at there. Is it moon surface? It hasn't sort of been filled in yet. Hyper artificial pink and slippery. What the hell? That's it. That's garbage. It really is. There's the tail one again. This one's been debunked, hasn't it? Make West. Looks like a man. It turns out to be a hair or something. It's on a few images. I was trying to get to that one. Sooner they get new spaceships up there with HD cameras and go to all these reported claims of alien bases as the only way to clear it up. I don't think the aliens would be on top of the surface anyway. They'd be underground. Or they wouldn't live there. If they can travel at hypersonic speeds in space, or jump out of portals, why would you want to live on the moon when you could go to somewhere better to live and then treat it like a day job, go there mine or whatever? Or robot miners. Why would you even want to live there? It gets solar radiation on the surface. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. Anyway, that was the magazines done for until we do the next batch, and I'll say good night. Not anyone to join me, not even Dan. Good night. Oh, and see you again in the future. Enjoy it while you can, because you never know when my channel's disappearing, especially on YouTube. They keep deleting my comments, suppressing my subs, and they say it's not them. Bullshit. Yeah, it's almost dinner time. Damn, that is too. Yeah.